Holy fucking shit, Craig is back!
Craig, you have blessed us with your presence.
Jesus,
Yes.
I did not see that coming.
For
I think that was
context,
me.
the last few episodes, Craig has been bailing the moment we invite him in, and we've had to record them using Gyark, his evil twin.
Yeah, I think Joshua has blessed us today with his presence.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Speaking of which, obviously, hello and welcome to another episode of the NHC podcast. Today we are joined by Joshua, obviously.
Hello there.
And obviously it's Armin and myself as the regulars.
Hello.
Now, today's episode. Unless you've been living under the world's largest rock, we have changed decade, which we also discussed in a previous episode. However, today's episode is inspired by the turn of the decade, but we're doing something a bit differently this time around. And that we're doing it in the context entirely of paleomedia, compared to our more science-oriented previous one. Specifically, Planet Dinosaur. Those of you who remember Planet Dinosaur, it came out a bit under 9 years ago, so 2011. And BBC Dinosaur documentary. Early on, it was marketed as a spiritual successor to Walking with Dinosaurs, because the BBC doesn't care enough to give us an actual successor to Walking with Dinosaurs.
Curse you, BBC!
But the interesting thing about Planet Dinosaur is that it was advertised multiple times, not just in pre-release, but also especially very heavily for the DVD release. It was advertised as showcasing dinosaurs discovered in the past decade. Those of you who have watched Planet Dinosaur know that that is a complete lie. There's actually very few dinosaurs that were found in the 2000s featured. There's a lot more focus on, you have Allosaurus, you have Daspletosaurus, you've got...
Stegosaurus.
Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus as well.
Brachiodontosaurus.
Yeah. You've got Argentinosaurus, which was 93, if I remember correctly. Not even 99. You've got Microraptor, I think is borderline. Microraptor is 2000, so that one just makes the cut.
Oh yeah, I remember 2000 was the year for feathered dinosaurs for me.
So the Feathered Dragons episode actually has almost exclusively dinosaurs from the 2000s, so that's nice. But for the most part, it failed at doing what it claimed to do.
To be honest, if they have worded it a little bit different, it would have slipped, because they present science from the last years.
That they do. And for what it is, I think it's a decent show. But I think it's also a bit of a missed opportunity, and they do market it. I'll be sending Armin a picture to put here, because I don't have it ready, of marketing materials of Planet Dinosaur, especially for the DVD, that say that it will show dinosaurs from the new decade.
Yeah. By the way, do you hear the birds in the background on my end?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a nice soundscape.
Unfortunately, I can't do anything against that, and they are animated by me talking.
Well, so basically we have 3 people and a bunch of dinosaurs in the podcast today.
Exactly.
So, hey! Our most authentic episode yet.
Can't get any more real than that.
So yeah, now where are we getting with this? Question of the hour being, is the new decade that has passed since Planet Dinosaur came out more conducive, or rather even just conducive at all, to the format that Planet Dinosaur claimed to do? Basically, could you create a Planet Dinosaur 2 now, actually using dinosaurs from the previous decade? So this is sort of the challenge that we've put to ourselves today, where each of us here is going to have to try and pitch and put forward their idea for how a Planet Dinosaur 2 would work. And now the challenge requirements are, we've gone a bit extreme to counterbalance the outright lie that Planet Dinosaur made. All dinosaurs featured must have been described and named in the 2010s. All of the genera or species we can allow for a species. And it's a 4-episode series. And all of the dinosaurs must have been described in the 2010s. That's basically the only requirement.
But we also had only 3 segments per episode.
Maximum 3 segments per episode. which is sort of how the original Planet Dinosaur did it. And yeah, so we'll be doing that for today. We'll be pitching and sharing, and then at the end, we'll put it up to the audience in the comments below, or wherever, or Discord as well is also acceptable. But it would be nice if we could concentrate it in the comments. Let us know whose ideas you think are best. And
Gotta get that algorithm working for us.
And maybe tell us your ideas as well.
Yes, if you have any idea. That would be great. Now, before we get into this, however, I have something I'd like to bring up, which is a surprise fun fact. How many of you guys have watched our Walking with Dinosaurs episode?
Me.
I hope it's all of you in the audience. If not, go watch it right now, because I'm about to spoil part of it. Okay, well, now that you've watched it, you will notice that in the episode, there's a part where we discuss Walking with Dinosaurs 2, this mysterious second series that aired somewhere that you can find reference to online. I don't think you can find reference to it online anymore. Since
I was gonna say.
came out. Yeah.
Someone corrected us since then, so.
Yes, so that's good. But I assume you can see where I'm going with this.
Oh, I think I can.
If you look online, you will find Planet Dinosaurs Series 2.
Oh,
you will find evidence. From what I gather, Planet Dinosaur Series 2 appears to be a 3-episode series. With one episode being called Killer Elite, I believe.
Oh, the Edge.
Yes. That is the second episode of the series. And then there's a few more episodes as well. Episode 3 is Alien World, released in 2012. What's the context for this? And I can't find a source for what the title of Series 2 Episode 1 is, which is beautiful, but I'm sure that's out there. Now, the main difference between Planet Dinosaur 2 and Walking with Dinosaurs 2, of course, is that Planet Dinosaur 2, thankfully, has an answer. We know where there's Planet Dinosaur 2, or at least I have a strong suspicion. And it is our old friend, those bastards over at Curiosity Stream who do such amazing television.
Oh.
We need to get to a review of Ancient Earth Series 1 at some point so that this all makes sense. But leaving that aside, Curiosity Stream, from what I can gather, have got a version of Planet Dinosaur which is called like Killer Elite and possibly other episodes online. So what I suspect is they've re-edited Planet Dinosaur for their online streaming service. And that's what's led to the confusion in algorithms.
So basically the Dinotasia to Dinosaur Revolution.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's the sort of fun fact. Planet Dinosaur 2 kinda exists. If anyone has Curiosity Stream, feel free to watch it and let us know. And now, without further ado, I think it's time that we get into the episode, the bulk of the episode. All right, are you guys all on board with that? So
yes, I am. I've got my chart. I've got my notes.
Yes.
I have something similar.
I have a Word document, and I have a randomizer here with the randomizer wheel with the amazing URL of wheel decide.
Oh my! Did you create this website? Seriously?
Sadly not, but so time to spin the wheel and see who goes first.
Oh god.
Oh yay, it's me.
Perfection.
Okay, so I'm going first, I guess, with my Planet Dinosaur 2 idea. So So mine is obviously 4 episodes, and episode 1, I've got a working title, which is Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Obviously, it's working title because some small TV series nobody really knows of already did that. May or may not be called Walking with Dinosaurs. But yeah, so obviously the focus on the episode will be how new discoveries in the past decade have elaborated more on how dinosaurs evolved and originated. And so the main formation of the episode is the Santa Maria Formation in Brazil. And the main focus of the episode would be the recently discovered Nandumirim. We'll be putting the list up somewhere so you can see all the spelling of the names and all that. So that will be the main focus of the episode. We'll be following around Nandumirim, commentary on how it is one of the basal most theropods known. And we'd also encounter Bagualosaurus from 2018, Nandumirim being from 2019. Bagualosaurus, and we comment on how it is the ancestral sauropod, or a representative of ancestral sauropods, and also the beautifully named Gnathovorax, which is pathetic and whose lineage will die out and nobody will remember them. And they will not affect anything. Yes. So those would be the three main, those would be the three dinosaurs. Then you'd also have Decuriasuchus, the very cool and honestly deserves much more love Rauisuchian, I believe. Yeah, Rauisuchian loricatan, which was found in a large group. So possibly pack hunting, or not, or moving in a group. Dave Hohen would probably disagree with me on that, but oh well.
Oh, yes,
and
he
also, yeah. And also Prestosuchus for the large boy, to show that even though there were some dinosaurian taxa like Gnathovorax that did attain considerable size, it was still the Rauisuchians that had the Rauisuchians and loricatans that had the upper hand. I think you could
just say Pseudosuchians, because
I think that's best. Rauisuchia is kind of
the
like
whole group is such a mess.
Yeah, Rauisuchia is pretty much worthless, to be honest.
Okay, so Pseudosuchia. And then for the conclusion of the episode, we'd also cut forward for the latter third of the episode to see new discoveries showing the heights that dinosaurs managed to attain. So not just where they originated, but some of the heights that they managed to reach at the pinnacle of their evolution, where we go to China in the, I don't know how to pronounce this, Xingazhuang formation in China, where we'd encounter Zhucheng tyrannus and Zhucheng titan, being the sort of representatives of the descendants from Nandumirim and Bagualosaurus, respectively. And we'd also have a cameo appearance from Sinoceratops, because everybody loves Sinoceratops.
Ha! That works well with what I had in mind.
And with mine.
Ooh, this is all gonna come together. I'll keep going and do all my three ideas so that we don't get confused. I was thinking we could do a Planet Dinosaur and hop back and forth between everyone's first idea, but that just sounds needless. Just like Planet Dinosaur. As Joshua, I believe, would feel. Now for episode 2, I would go to Argentina to look at a single formation for the entirety of the episode, just to highlight how we've got some formations that actually in their entirety have been coming far more to light in the past decade. The Bajo de la Carpa formation, or Bajo de la Carpa, but I don't trust Philo's pronunciation guides anymore for reasons that we may or may not discuss. Actually, no, that we will discuss.
We could just put them in their post-credits, maybe?
Maybe. No. I'm getting to the pronunciation guide, actually, as part of my episodes.
Okay, fair enough.
So, obviously, the most important taxon in the Bajo de la Carpa formation is Tratayenia. Obviously, it's the only valuable one. No, I kid. It's going to be one of the dinosaurs that we'll be focused upon, Tratayenia. The other one being Via Venator, because just like Planet Dinosaur, we prioritize theropods here.
Shame.
But that doesn't mean theropods will be the only taxa here. We'd also have Traucotitan and Mahuida cursor. So the episode would focus more on the sort of dynamics and interactions between all of these animals. So equally, you would have pack hunting Via Venator, incorporating the new trackways that indicate group behavior for abelisaurids. Mob hunting Mahuida cursors, so not anything coordinated. And you'd also have Tratayenia, which would have been much larger, around 9 meters long, perhaps, hunting immature Traucotitan. And the episode will also feature, in a callback to Walking with Dinosaurs, or rather one of the odd retcons that Walking with Dinosaurs did, Dinalizia, which, for those of you who don't know, was retroactively named. They retroactively named the snake in the Hell Creek formation of Walking with Dinosaurs, Dinalizia.
Oh wait, I will be back in a second.
Farewell. Okay, now we can ban Joshua while he's not looking.
Yeah, it always works so well, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
We just got Craig back. Please do not
scare him away.
Back.
Okay. You missed so much, Joshua. I'm sorry. I already outlined my other 2 episodes. Yeah, so Dinolysia,
Oh, well,
which was
nothing
lead
important.
name. And you'd also have Gasparinosuchus to show some light on crocodilomorphs or whatever. Yeah, and that would be episode 2. Episode 3 would be a 3-segment world hopping episode where we look at groundbreaking discoveries, so really unexpected discoveries that the 2010s brought us, because I think that's what 2010s sort of excelled at. Starting out with the Tiaozhishan Formation with Ichi, and which would also feature Kaiyong as a background dinosaur. And then you'd go over to, I'm sure Sassy would love this, the Rio Parana Formation, or Rio
I don't think
Parana.
it's actually Rio Piranha anymore. Because when I looked into this, it was actually I found that it apparently can't be assigned to Rio Piranha anymore, from what I could gather.
Oh, we'll just put like a text or an addendum, depending on what mood we're in. At the end. It's Goyo Area Formation. That's it.
Exactly, yeah, because I've actually got the same one.
Yep. We've already got overlap. So so my Goyo Area Formation would feature, of course, Kaiyuajara, Vespersaurus, and Keras Dracon, with Vespersaurus kind of being the focus, but also Kaiyuajara and Keras Dracon getting appropriate amounts of attention. And then we would conclude with one of the most groundbreaking discoveries of the decade. In the Yishan Formation, it would feature Eutyrannus. Obviously needs no introduction, and just to get the mandatory Awesome Bro action scene, Eutyrannus would be hunting Liaoning Titan, because this is Planet Dinosaur. And for the final episode, we would turn to look at new discoveries that have taken place in a single country, that of Spain. Starting off with La Huerguina Formation, where basically for the episode it'll be more so about the general ecosystems, new discoveries done in the prehistoric ecosystems that these dinosaurs would have inhabited, as well as new dinosaur discoveries. So La Huerguina Formation with Concavenator primarily, which obviously there's just more than enough to talk about, and also featuring Europyjara and Spinolestes, the small mammal from the formation, which would have been insectivorous. But most interestingly, when I thought of Spinolestes, I noticed that Planet Dinosaur does not have a single mammal, the original show.
Huh.
True.
Yes, so cue the arguments that fur is too hard to animate. I honestly don't know why they didn't feature them, but I guess it might just have also been anti-mammal bias. I don't know.
Because the BBC is run by reptiles. I mean, we all know that.
Can someone remember when Repenomanus was described?
2000 and 2005 for the second one, I believe. For the one with Sorry, it had already been featured in a TV show by the time. Mammals versus Dinosaurs, also known as Saugetier gegen Dinosauria, which I actually watched the German release of in English. It's complicated. But also Ice Age Giants. Ice Age Giants, I've seen the German version of in English, and there are actually substantial differences between the English language German version and the English language BBC version.
That's often the case, yeah.
Yeah. I prefer...
Also, all David Attenborough documentaries over here have no David Attenborough in it.
Yeah, the Ice Age Giants I watched had none of the presenter there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes better.
Not for David Attenborough, come on.
Yes, for David Attenborough it's a shame, but other stuff sometimes it's for the better.
Yeah, no, I'll agree on that.
It makes the immersion easier.
Yeah. Then I'd hop off to the Arcillas de Morella Formation, where you'd have Morellodon, and of course, Vallibonavanatrix. Not Vallibonavanatrix, as some might have you believe, but actually Vallibonavanatrix.
Who's saying it differently?
Sorry?
Who's saying it differently?
You know?
I don't know why.
Argued it would be Vallibonavanatrix because it's a double L. And indeed, in basic Spanish, double L is a Y sound. For instance, it's in Spanish, it's not pronounced llama, it's pronounced llama.
Tequila. Or no, wait, does tequila have a double L?
No, it's IL.
Okay, I keep messing that up.
Yeah.
You should know
But
that.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I got them hate tequila. Oh my god, no.
But you're in the business.
I am in the business, yes, and the guy invited me to 2 tequilas. And my god, I felt like throwing up half an hour later.
Nice.
But
That
we are getting off
sounds-
topic.
That
Yes.
sounds awesome.
And then, so Morellodon and Valibonavanatrix. And in the last formation of the Spain episode would be the Tremp formation, featuring Parasaurus adenomosaurus, Allodapasuchus subjunipedus, and some indeterminate dromaeosaurids. And the notability of the Tremp formation is that it is one of the few KPG level formations not to feature Tyrannosaurus. That's why I'm featuring it, obviously, to show KPG from another point of view. Europe, which has rarely been shown before. And that's how I would end my series. So, yeah, that's my pitch. Episode 1 being Dawn of the Dinosaurs with the Santa Maria formation and the Xingshang formation at the end. Then a Bajo de la Carpa formation for the second episode. Then Ichi, Vespasaurus, and Eutyrannus starring in the third episode, and Spanish formations for the fourth one. So a bit of a regional split, actually, for most of them. More so than a behavioral or phylogenetic. So that's my pitch, and that's my conclusion.
Nice, nice.
I do
I feel like I need a graphic to really see. Shut up, birds! To really see where all this is going, because there's you dropped a lot of names there. But
Yes,
everyone could do graphics while I'm editing this, so we could drop them on screen.
Good.
What do you mean by graphics? Like what specific graphic do you want?
I feel like we maybe a list of taxa and narration, so the chronology in which they would appear in the series, plus a map to see where we're going with it.
A map. Okay, yeah. I have a list of taxa and also episodes, but yeah, I can come up with a map, which might be fun, and would also tie into the original Planet Dinosaur, because they had a lot of maps in that one.
That's true.
Yeah, it was like almost Indiana Jones levels of maps.
Yeah, it also is it really helped because I jumped around so quickly and so often that you very easily could.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
Be confused.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyways, shall I hit the wheel to decide?
Yeah. Just one more thing.
It's
I find it interesting that you point out that you're gonna have KPG in Europe, when it's also a thing that the original did.
Yes, indeed, but not Hartseg Islands.
I mean,
there are
of course,
some
I'm
new
just saying
taxa
it's...
from Hartseg, are there?
Balor?
You could have Balor and Paluja Titan could replace Magyarosaurus, because that was in 2010. But yeah, no, I'd try not. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's an interesting coincidence.
Yeah. So, shall I spin the wheel?
Go for it.
The wheel shall spin.
Joshua, the wheel has spun for you. You're the chosen one, Joshua.
Fate.
You're the chosen one.
Fate reached me at last. Damn it. I'm not very prepared. But I try to make things up as I go. There's quite a bit of overlap regarding ideas that Achero already had. I too would like to visit the formation Kyuajara and Vespasaurus is from, just because I think it's beautiful how we have their relatively new but also very enclosed environment that you can fully explore. So I would imagine that we would follow maybe a flock of Kyuajara over the desert to this oasis where they were preserved and explore there the ecology and the different interactions on site.
Yeah.
That would be really nice. I think I would, in the first episode, explore 3 different extreme environments. First the
Yeah.
desert, then going to Antarctica with a snow hill island formation with Trinisaura, Antarctopelta, and Imperobator.
Antarctopelta is unfortunately 4 years too old, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, well, it could be in the background somewhere.
You can replace it with
breaking the
Morosaurus.
rules. Rules are there to
Morosaurus.
be broken.
Morosaurus. No, that's kind of not what they're for. Actually, I'll have you know.
I very much disagree, but
Okay.
I mean,
that's fair.
you can't. That's one of the problems I have with this concept overall. When you only focus, with few exceptions, when you only focus on the animals from the last 10 or 11 years,
Dinosaurs, not animals.
dinosaurs, then you have
Dinosaurs
a very hard
aren't animals
time
confirmed.
exploring really the ecosystems these animals lived in. And
Yeah,
just having a species portrait, then you don't need much CGI.
Yes, but that's what Planet Dinosaur did as well. And this is Planet Dinosaur 2 that you're working with.
Yes,
I
but
think
they
we can
still
all
have
agree,
a lot of interactions between the animals. And
Well,
I think we can all agree, if we had the option, we would do it differently. But we are doing it in the sense that we are put in the same shoes as they were, with the same restrictions.
I'm a guest, anarchy!
Because it's
I
weird.
can do whatever
If
I want.
I had
The
the
customer is
option,
always king.
I just make this Walking with Dinosaurs too, to be honest.
Yes, Planet
Yes, I think
Dinosaur
most
2,
people-
but it's all live action, and there's only one segment per episode.
Yes.
But yeah, I would go to Antarctica and show off the Antarctic winter and maybe a little bit of the summer. But not going down the route like March of the Dinosaurs, where it's really very depressing how they portray the environment and everything. It's I can't watch that show. It makes me really. I get in a really bad mood. I would go more down the line what they did in Walking with Dinosaurs with an Australian.
Honestly, that was a beautiful episode.
Yes, it's one of my favorite episodes, and going more in that direction.
Soundtrack was beautiful too.
Yeah, I mean, imagine we would now start production on such a series. I guess there are still quite a few of creatures, also dinosaurs from that formation that are waiting to be discovered. So we could add a few more as we go. I think so. Trinisaura, I think, is certainly required. Also because I just want a very fluffy little ornithopod. Also to show off feathered or not maybe feathered but fuzzy ornithopods in at least one episode. You could also in the same episode maybe go underwater for a little and show off Aristonectus and speak about convergent evolution in large plesiosaurs and whales. That's a possibility. And so far, I had no idea for a third extreme environment. What would maybe work is the Colinda locality.
Yes.
Which this isn't published yet, but it was apparently a rather harsh environment with lots of volcanic activity. And again, we would have a small feathered, fluffy ornithopod you could work with. Not much else, I think, so far at least. I mean, the preservation of the locality is phenomenal, but I think field work is is really difficult in that area. So it might take a few more years before we get something else than Colonodromois. Really. For the next episode, I think I would start. I think I would make it all about ceratopsian diversity and the evolution of North American ecosystems in the Cretaceous. Starting off with Sinoceratops.
Hey.
So one could link actually these episodes together and end with Susheng Tyrannus and then continue with Sinoceratops. So we start in Asia where the ceratopsians probably originated and look at the only derived species we had so far, which would also be the first for any documentary to really show off the species, I think.
Yeah, Sinoceratops has been in one before.
Oh, yeah?
It was in a Korean one with discount Nigel Marven.
I don't watch these anyway.
Adventures
Not
of
an important one.
It's called Adventures of Ceratops. How can you resist?
Oh,
Rick made a video about it.
Yeah, I
just
think I
watch
forgot
that, to be honest.
Yes. It's got discount Nigel Marven watching Jurassic Park with his pet Corianoceratops.
Did you know that Nigel Marven has a burrowing owl?
Yes, Vigor.
Yeah.
I saw it yesterday. It's so cute. Well, anyway. From Sinoceratops, we would hop over to North America, talking about the whole North American Asian interchange and so on into the Wa Web formation, I think, featuring Spiclipois and or Spiclipeus and Diabloceratops, and Litronex would be there, and Acristavus is also from the 2010er interval, and Adelophus too. A lot was discovered over the last few years.
You'll have to excuse me 1 second.
Yes.
Spiclipeus is from the Judith River formation.
Oh, really?
Has Machaeroceratops been lumped into it? Because Machaeroceratops is from Wawweep.
Oh, no, then I mixed them together in the mind. I didn't write the name down, but I mean Machaeroceratops, yeah. Not yeah.
Yeah.
There were too many ceratopsians over the last few years, and I try to play with that. So the next part of that episode would be Kuiperowitz formation, looking at all the different ceratopsians we had there, plus all the, of course, hadrosaurs and tyrannosaurs.
Yeah.
Which shows really nicely how the diversity suddenly exploded there. We could also have maybe a little throwback and show, okay, we also had here Suniceratops, although it's not from the 2010er years, but maybe have it as a graphic just to show
True. You can always get away with
where we come from, basically. Yes. But then in the actual episode, feature all, what do we have? Cosmoceratops, Medusaceratops.
No, I don't know.
I didn't write anything, but there is a lot. Yeah. Also interesting is to show off the different, of course, environments these animals live in. Yeah. And for the third episode, I think I would like to have a look into different large theropod niches. Starting off with Vienvenator as the oldest one of the bunch, and going into this whole megalosaurs being more coastally oriented.
True.
That's I think is a very interesting aspect that is rarely covered, and then showing off some other large theropods from a similar time interval maybe that was discovered. I haven't found one so far that I really like, that lived more inland. Maybe some allosaur.
From when? What time period are we talking?
Oh wait, actually, since Venator is Middle Jurassic, we could go into Asphaltovenator.
Yeah.
Having an inland ecosystem.
Yeah.
Showing that off. And for the third part, I think also Las Hoyas would be really interesting. With Concavenator.
You could also have Europechara.
Indeed. And I think I would combine this large theropod. I'm not sure. I would really like to have an episode devoted to Atstarkid diversity, although it's a dinosaur show, you know.
You can get away with it. I told you, Sassy, if he had been able to join us, would have done pterosaurs only.
Yeah, probably.
I don't joke. I
Yeah.
had spoken with him. I said that's fine. So yeah.
Yeah. No, alternatively to the large theropod episode ecology, I think I would go with Atstarkid or Atstarkoid diversity and evolution, which would also be interesting to show off different environments these animals lived in, since they were basically continent hopping. And
then you can get your Indiana Jones graphic.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, since Planet Dinosaur came out, there were so many new discoveries that show that Atstarkids are so much more diverse than we thought before. And I mean, Sassy just posted second blog post. By the way, in case you don't know Sassy's Pterosaur Inquisition blog, you should check that out, where he shows how diverse Atstarkids were, especially in their skull shape and everything. There's so much more going on than media often let us believe.
Yeah.
So yes, that would be basically my rundown. I also had ideas for stuff like Alvarez-Saw evolution could be interesting to feature.
Could be, but it's tough because no, we've got Alvarez-Saw origins, but not much new normal Alvarez-Saurs as far as I'm aware.
I think there were one or two.
Yeah. True, we had Gobinicus or something.
For example, yeah, I think there were a few, but
we also had like two Alvarez-Saurs described at once, I think.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the big interesting things that happened over the last 10 years, that we really unraveled the evolution of Alvarez-Saws. Also, I wanted to feature Borealopelta at some point, but I found no good context for it.
Yeah.
That leaves only Armin.
Okay,
let the wheel decide.
Okay, who is it?
Just a second, let me... I like this. There's just a big wheel that's just one color with the word Armin just going round and round.
Oh my god.
It's Armin!
Oh my god, I'm not prepared at all! God damn it! So yeah, I've got 4 episodes planned out, basically. Episode 1, kind of generic. Similar to Achero, I was actually going into how dinosaurs came to be and how they came to rise in size and everything. Titled First Light, not very creative, I know. I have 2 segments for this episode. I originally had 3, with one starting in the Blue Mesa member of the Chile formation, but I scrapped that entirely because it didn't really connect to anything ultimately. And yeah, it would basically start the Santa Maria formation. Yes, again, yeah. It also has Cnephorax in it and Prestosuchus, so those are similar. But I also have Boreolestes, for sauropodomorphs. Ixalerpeton for Lagoptertids, which I think are now closer to pterosaurs, from what I remember, aren't they?
Indeed. Is it an abstract, I think, maybe?
It was
Yeah,
an
it's
abstract,
yeah, it's in the work in the moment. So nothing concrete yet.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
And Wintrosaurs, because those are just really weird and should be featured at least in the background at some point. And yeah, this would be kind of like this introduction to, dinosaurs, and first small, and would then jump into the Upper Elliott Formation in South Africa.
Crap, I muted myself. Sorry about that. No, I deafened myself. That's the one.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Now recording.
Oh God. Yes.
Would then jump to the Upper Elliott Formation, South Africa. It would start getting into larger stuff like Letumahadi, being of course like already really goddamn big. Pecomestax.
Hey.
Yeah, gotta include our mascot.
Yes.
And possibly Dracovenator.
The years are not favorable to you there.
Yeah.
But
possibly. Yes. I have it in.
How dare
it's not for sure, so I just kind of boxed it in a little.
All right.
So yeah, but like at first it was small, then how they got big by the early Jurassic.
May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If you don't want to use Dracovenator, you've always got Saltriovenator, which you could just hop between the two formations. If you want something from the past decade.
Shame, no formation hopping.
Okay, yeah. Episode 2, which is a subject matter I'm not usually that fond of, the Tyrannosaur episode.
Hey!
It's actually kind of what Joshua had in mind for Ceratopsians. Titled Humble Beginnings, it would start out in the Cedar Mountain Formation with Moras and Shearts. They would basically get to know them as they're still small, with the larger Allosaurids being the dominant predators. Would go around with that a little bit. Only really interesting dinosaur from the 2010s that's a herbivore was a Bilosaurus, which was a Brachiosaurid. But that's with the time a little bit messy. It's still in the right member, but it's 8 billion years between it and Moros. So.
Okay, that's a big ass member. I did not realize.
Yeah, Musentuchin. Yeah.
Well,
unless Wikipedia lied to me, which is very possible.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, this would be our start. We would go to our middle point, which would be Kaparowitz formation with Ceratophoneus.
Mm.
Those have Nasutoceratops, because I love Nasutoceratops.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe show Echinocephalus, just basically to have those armored dinosaurs which co-evolved with Tyrannosaurs. Kind of maybe a vested arms race that has been going on between the two.
Mm.
And Dinosuchus, because I'm in charge.
Nice.
So yeah, and the final segment would be Suchian Tyrannus.
Mm.
Suchian Tyrannus, Suchian Titan, and Suchian Ceratops. The Leptoceratops.
Oh, that's a twist.
Yeah, that's a twist. I had Sinoceratops written down, but in retrospect, just screw it.
Yeah.
I'll leave it out.
No, that's nice. That was a nice twist.
Yeah, might as well have. I mean, it also makes for a fun segment in terms of names.
Yeah.
Suchian everything.
Good thing you don't feature Fukui.
Yes.
Oh god. But yeah, just imagine like David Attenborough was a male Suchian Tyrannus stalks to unsuspecting Suchian Titan, while a small flock of Suchian Ceratops, and just the entire segment is like that.
Yes.
Oh, fucking hell. I hate that dog.
Kill it.
Anyways, episode 3 is also a two-parter. Weird and Wonderful, starting in the Jurassic with Yichi.
Ah, nice.
And it would be 3 taxa featured in this segment. Yichi, Darwinopterus. Sassy would be happy. Sassy.
Yeah.
Sassy.
Sassy, there, you got it.
Yeah. And
Sexy,
Oronus. So you would have basically 3 different types of light evolution in the one area. So you have Scanceropteryx with a skin membrane. You have pterosaurs, obviously, and also you could also address the transition from the early long-tailed forms to more pterodactyloids
Good
with
idea.
Darwinopterus, and of course Oronus being anchiornithid. So you have like more traditional bird flight evolution with feathers and everything.
Would be also a good way to destroy this bird hunting Darwinopterus meme.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, it was also really neat because back when with Laurie with Achero making his little chart of all the times flight evolved independently in many Raptorans.
Yeah.
Except with Unenlagains, but
What do you mean?
I mean because the formation doesn't have an Unenlagain.
Yeah. Also Microraptorine, which, although not powered flight, has been argued, which I feel is getting more support now that Tianu Raptor, it might be Microraptorine, and also looking at some of the leg length. But anyways.
Yeah, the second segment of the episode would be Goyo Aero formation. So again, we've got the pterosaurs. This is a pterosaur-heavy episode. Obviously, I mean, the 3 main subjects, Kauyashara, big breeding colony. We could show, basically all the juveniles, babies. That would be lovely. And you could have Charastracon and Vespasaurus being sort of predators of the small ones.
Yes. Nice. I approve.
Yeah. And the 4th episode, most creative title, Survival. I had no idea what to do with this one, to be honest.
Isn't Survival like kind of like an episode title in both Planet Dinosaur and Dinosaur Evolution?
I feel that might be the case, yes.
Survival the 3rd.
You've got survival tactics in Dinosaur Evolution. And
it has tactics of it. It's completely different.
And Planet Dinosaur has great survivors.
I feel like Survival is absolutely overrated in this format overall. So.
Yeah, as I said, I had no idea what to title it, so I just picked the next best thing. And so, everyone's favorite burn victim, Oshalaya.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we had Planet Dinosaur with its Spinosaurus, so we can build on that, our more modern understanding of it.
Although, how some also call it, Spinosaurus quilombensis.
Yeah.
So you can get your Spinosaurus in there.
Yeah! Even on a genus level or species level, it's new enough. You could have Itapoyasaurus in the background, just chilling. And we all know that Planet Dinosaur permanently featured Onchopristis. So let's give some attention to Mausonia, giant coelacanth. I mean, and so let's not bullshit it. Echinoxodius, which from what I could gather is a biggest lungfish.
My favorite fish, economics.
Economics 101. Oshalaya. Do not invest in sales and fishing. It doesn't get you far.
Or museum. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
That was unavoidable. I'm sorry. Please forgive.
I mean, I literally started out with our favorite burn victims, so
yeah, true.
It's not just you.
How about a natural oil spill, and then there's suddenly a lightning strike
in the end.
Swamp gets set on fire.
This is fine.
Certainly.
We would stay in South America for the second part of the segment, which would be starting in the... I'm gonna try pronouncing that. Permatuea and Lachas Veneter.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because the Dinosaurs are weird, and Lachas Veneter is tiny.
Yes.
You could also go the speculative route and have the hump, and maybe the quill knobs. You can kind of sneak that in there with Conca Veneter just as a skeleton, and
Yeah.
without having to introduce it as a new formation and everything.
Yeah.
Because I had to cut out Conca Veneter for space reasons.
Yeah.
And while having this while featuring Conca Veneter as a skeleton in reference for Lachas Veneter, you could also have Bashadasaurus as a skeleton referring to Permatuea, in how certain Dinosaurs had these weird neck spikes, basically.
Do we have Palmatoya's neck?
We have neck vertebrae which are like sort of between Dinosaurs and Bashadasaurus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say it's already so extreme that you could say it might already be exposed. I'll post a picture real quick so you see it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I still have on my mind to do at some point a series of portraits.
Yeah, I'm currently working on Palmatuea and Lachas Veneter in one picture, which I already mentioned in the last episode. So I'm still working on that.
Didn't you mention that like last year or something?
No, I said it this year. That I started last decade. But yeah, it's this sort of in between Dinosaurs, which already has a double neck spikes, but very short and close together.
Right.
And let's say Bashadasaurus, which are long and just going away from each other.
Right.
So it kind of see this argument between there are branches of them that just... I think when it came out, it was recovered as a sister taxon to Amargasaurus.
Yeah. I'm looking at the paper now. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that would be interesting to have Lachas Veneter and Palmatuea and kind of segment into skeletons of Bashadasaurus and Conca Veneter in how weird relatives of them got.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
So yeah. And that would be the end of that episode. I had a few that I had scrapped, like I said, the chin information I cut out, Conca Veneter I cut out. I cut out the whole KPG thing, which I'm surprised that you didn't do Achero Raptor.
That I didn't cut it out. I like the transformation, and it was a way to also like bulk up the Spain episode, and which helped include Conca Veneter and Valiba Nevenatrix. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I like that as well. I mean, there are so many KPG episodes in all sorts of documentaries by now. It's just Hell Creek and
yeah. So I decided to skip it because never Hell Creek.
It's because really weird. There is not one documentary I think so far where they cover the Deccan traps.
Yeah, true. No, because it was one of the things that annoyed me about Dinosaur Superworld. I'm gonna keep calling it that.
Oh yeah.
Because like I said in the end, like I was kind of annoyed by the end that they had the guts to introduce the asteroid in the end. Oh come on, you had nothing building up to KPG, why do you suddenly force it in? So yeah, I just decided to leave it out. We don't need another KPG, and if we need KPG, then we need Madagascar.
I mean the KPG event is so massively overdone. It's nearly as obnoxious as shoving T-Rex in every dinosaur documentary.
Yes.
I mean, like, and at the end we have this, dramatic, and it's not like we already know what happened. Everybody knows what happens. Why do you have to show it for this millionth times?
Yeah,
maybe
nobody's out there.
Even prettier CG this times, and we have experts that come in and say us how horrible everything was, and I don't care.
Australia is on fire. I think we have a good idea what horrible is.
Yeah, the problem is Australia burns slowly.
Yeah. At least the dinosaurs had it over quickly for the most part.
Yeah. probably.
Well, except for Deccan Traps, because there was just like this paper that just came out that the Deccan Traps was actually a really slow event that also happened before the extinction.
Yeah, but at the same time, the media were like, "Oh, this had nothing to do with the extinction of the dinosaurs," and I'm like, 200 years, such a large volcanic eruption, 200 years is nothing. It will have an impact on the global climate and overall biosphere. You can't just render that out of the equation.
No.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But we should go back to.
we digress. So, Armin.
Yeah.
Bika, so that was your third episode, right?
Yes, well, further, Oshalaya and Plachas Venator.
Nice.
Good.
And do you have a fourth?
No, that was my fourth.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I had First Light, Dinosaurs Rise, Humble Beginnings, the Tyrannosaur episodes, the weird one, and the last one.
I forgot about the weird one for some reason.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay then, so that concludes it then, I guess. So those are our three ideas. We'll obviously have like text list, like we said, we'll have the infographics and all that. I'd like to bring up a few taxa that I noticed were conspicuously absent from all our works, even though they were pretty big. No love for Chilisaurus, guys, really?
I mean, look at yourself.
You didn't include it either.
I know.
He who is without sin, throw the first stone.
Yes.
I mean, there could be an episode just for problematic taxa.
Yeah,
Well,
Fukui
no,
Venator
but-
could also be in there as well.
Yeah.
Fukui Venator being the Maniraptoran, not Fukui Raptor, the Mega Raptoran.
God damn it, Japan, why do you have to make this so confusing?
What else?
Also, another interesting formation, which I noticed, is the Nanchong formation, which has Chanzusaurus and Ganansaurus. But what I find most interesting is that in the past decade, we have named 7 distinct Oviraptor genera from that one formation.
Oh, yeah.
In 1 decade. Which is weird, and I wouldn't be surprised if some get lumped, but
Oh, yes.
because there's 7 of them. But it's interesting, you've got like weird ones. There's one that has like a cassowary crest.
Coryphoraptor?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
No, not Corythosaurus.
Whoa.
Corythoraptor.
Corythoraptor.
Yeah.
And you have Tiong Tianlong, which some of you may recognize from a picture of it drowning in mud.
Oh, yes, that one. Mm.
That most respectable of press release work arts.
Quite a few have pointed out that it's possible that these might be ontogenetic stages. For example, with Corythoraptor being the most adult morph with this very large crest.
Okay, please, not all 7 of them being one ontogenetic stage, please.
No, but some of them might.
Okay.
I mean, if I remember correctly, they aren't not even all in the same family, so... Yeah.
All of them do have a skull, though. That's impressive. Looking over Wikipedia, they have parts of...
I think Asian Oviraptorosaurs often preserve the skull.
Yeah.
On the other hand, North American Oviraptorosaurs are... We have barely any skull material, only Anzu, and the rest is... Schöne Scheiße.
You can swear now. We need to get rid of Copa.
Well, he did. He did in German.
Copa doesn't use Google Translate, though. Copa is American.
Would be nicer to have a skull matching the lower jaw of Gigantoraptor.
So I can curse in German on my videos and still make them for kids?
Wait, are you making your videos for kids?
No.
Okay, then. But yeah.
The possibility.
Theory, yeah. I guess if you're brave enough, go for it, Joshua.
Do it.
Nobody brought up Suski Tyrannus as well.
I mean, yeah, I was going with mowers because Fiat and didn't just want to recycle Planet Dinosaur.
I mean,
That's
there were
fair.
so
And
many.
I mean dinosaurs from America.
There were so many small, relatively derived tyrannosaurs over the last few years. So it's
We didn't mention Nanosaurus. We didn't mention Kianchusaurus.
yeah
Colindrodromaeus was left out.
something that
No. Did you feature Knüppe, Joshua, or was that just a hypothetical one, like a potential?
no, I want I thought about having it in the third segment of the first episode to go into different extreme environments.
Right.
Has that in there. So desert, Antarctica, volcanic area. Yeah, but I have to clearly write that down too, so we can make graphics out of it.
Yes.
Couchscaraptor.
True. I mean, that's already been featured in one documentary. That's enough. That's enough attention for you.
Also not
back on the cell.
Not in the ideal way, I would say.
Andrea Joe's just boiling inside right now.
Probably. And I mean, the what was it? Was it not the Namek formation? It was the Doctor formation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and besides Halchcaraptor, there wasn't that much over the last years, I think, from that formation you could work with. And only Halchcaraptor in there also feels it's interesting, surely, but as I said, I don't like episodes that just focus on one animal and the rest is just landscapes. That's a little bit boring.
Yeah.
Although the Jadoctor formation surely has very interesting stuff.
Yes.
I would like to tweak the roles in the way that the main protagonist has to be from the 2010er years.
Yes, but this was an experiment, Joshua.
Yes, but I don't like it.
Actually, I suggested the same
bad.
thing in DMs, but I was shut down, so...
But Achero,
It's an experiment, guy. It's for science. Science.
No, you are just a dictator.
Yes.
For science.
For
You monster.
You hinder artistic expression.
For
But on the other
science.
hand, you also allow formation hopping. What is that? I mean, that's so inconsequential. That's even worse than including stuff that's not from 2010 and onward. I mean...
No.
Fight.
I'm sorry, but the one thing is just for the narrative, and the other thing is scientific. And when it comes to these things, I'm more on the scientific side.
Well, yes, but it's Planet Dinosaur, so you have to have the narrative aspect that Planet Dinosaur brought up. Otherwise, it's not Planet Dinosaur. And the whole point of the exercise is to see. It's just a conceptual thing.
Okay, then we have to talk about the flaws of Planet Dinosaur.
I mean, that's fair. If you want to, go ahead. This is the Joshua rant hours.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was, I think, mostly done by people who also worked on Walking with Dinosaurs. Quite a few of them.
Not Tim Haynes, but yes.
But I think it was, the whole thing was born out of criticism that was brought up after Walking with Dinosaurs that there was too little science in Walking with Dinosaurs.
Yeah, they compensated for that very hard and very obviously.
Yeah, so they tried something different. They said, okay, we want all these different animals in there, we want all this new science in there, and we want to convey it not only with CGI animals walking around and having a lot of speculative behavior, but also showing the science behind it. The result, however, how awesome the idea originally was is a clusterfuck, at least for me. Because they jump around so quickly and so often, especially between thank you birds for expressing my anger. They cut so quickly between the different episodes or different sections of the episode, and between the CGI dinosaurs and the explanatory part where they show how they got to this point, that an immersion into the world of the dinosaurs is really difficult. And it's so much information raining on you that at the end of the day you really ask yourself, okay, what have I just seen there? I once saw somebody a video of someone who was teaching other people to. He basically made workshops about workshops, and he said when you can't sum up all the information you want to give in a workshop on one A4 piece of paper, then it's already too much.
Right.
And that's what I think Walking with Dinosaurs, for example, really excelled in. They had quite a bit of information in there, but it was well written into the narrative. And it was stretched out over an episode in a way that you could really soak it in really well. And Planet Dinosaur just did it too much. And of course, there are all these different problems with the animations we have. And I mean, that would need a whole podcast on its own to go into that.
Yeah.
They try too much at once, I think, sums it up, my critique. And there's also a podcast, a video by Scott Potter on the Sagamizers YouTube channel, which goes more into detail. Check that out if you want.
How about you, Armin? What are your thoughts on Planet Dinosaur?
I agree, it was a little bit too much jumping around. Animation, oh my god, I'll fully admit I'm not a fan of the design. Some just this purple Uranosaurus with yellow spots.
Oof. Yeah.
That runs like a animal that is 2 tons lighter.
It's the Carcharodontosaurus also looks really weird. The Maposaurus was great.
Lower jaw.
Yeah, the Maposaurus was looking nice. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think the best models were in the episode with I think it was Albertosaurus and
Daspletosaurus.
Daspletosaurus.
Yeah.
Yes, Daspletosaurus. What else did they have? Chasmosaurus and
Centrosaurus.
Centrosaurus. Yes, I think these were the best models they had there. I think that's the one where they put most effort into it.
But Jungosaurus was all right as well, I feel.
Oh yeah. I found the environment really boring, to be honest.
Yeah,
the environment was god awful. I hated the environment in that episode, and
every pterosaur, especially at Starkets, really turned my guts inside out.
On account of it being the same model.
Yes.
Yeah, oh god.
Which goes to show, I mean, how much we learned about Atstarkit anatomy since then, and diversity. Back in the day, you could kind of get away with it still, but...
Yeah.
I will say, I did quite enjoy the segment in Asia with Microraptor. Though I have to say, the feathers on the legs of Sinoniphosaurus were awful.
Yeah.
Like,
I felt the feathering on a lot of the taxa was the worst bit. Like Gigantoraptor was really poorly feathered. And the Troodon,
in this case, you really can see for all the flaws that is a dinosaur evolution Gigantoraptor has for being very, very nimble and extremely colorful beyond reason. They did a much better job with the overall plumage.
Yeah.
I felt the Troodontids also were pretty crap in Planet Dinosaur.
Yeah.
They're just like a
so smooth. It looks so smooth.
I felt also the entire Alaskan Troodontid segment was pretty bad. That is just nothing of value there. It's just Troodontid appears, runs around, chases Montosaurus. The end. And I thought
Yeah,
that just
one could have
dragged it.
done so much more with this.
Yeah, and it's also all set at night, so it's like really bland to watch. I feel
It could have been done well at night, but it just looks like you're talking to the screen afterwards. So it's just really bland.
Yeah.
Like if done right, like let's say the Lystrosaurus segment of Walking with Monsters was also set at night, or the intro to Land of Giants. Like those are night scenes, and they utilized this with the night vision camera, and it looked really nice.
Yeah.
I think they could have cut out a lot of these segments and focus more on the remaining ones to put more budget into that. I mean, building all these models and making all these animations, it's a lot of money going into that, especially making new models and everything.
Yeah.
And on all the different environments, so they could have saved money to concentrate more.
Yeah.
Also, then they would have been able to make the different segments longer and having less cuts between the explaining and actually showing.
Yeah.
I think that's something really. There are two. I once heard there are two ways to make things in cinema. In general, it's to show things or to explain things.
It's show, don't tell.
Yeah. And I think Walking with Dinosaurs, for example, was amazing in showing, and Planet Dinosaur tried so hard to explain that.
Yeah, like every 10 seconds you have a cutaway to a fossil. Oh yeah, we did this because this and this and this, and it's just it takes you out of it.
And I mean, it's for example, it was really interesting with the Spinosaurus and the Carcharodontus fight, but all this explanation should have come at the end of the fight and not in between.
Yeah.
Same goes for the Microraptor, I feel. The Microraptor Sinornithosaurus chase is interrupted halfway through by by an explanation of how they know how Microraptor glided.
Yeah.
Like, we don't care at this point.
Yeah. I think it was mentioned before on the podcast that the Ballad of Big L is a good example how it can be done right. That you have first the CGI segment where you show the story of Big L, the specimen, and after that you really go into the science behind it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the sort of 2 episodes sort of thing where they had like 2 episodes about it. They had the first being which is also interesting enough what Dinosaur Evolution initially wanted to do. But then they abandoned it and they were like, no, you will combine it into a more natural documentary. Probably because that takes up more slots if you were to do it as separate episodes.
Yeah, and it felt kind of half-arsed in a way.
I mean, yeah, the end result.
I mean, sometimes they had people cutting in and explaining stuff. Sometimes they didn't, and it felt like a lot of things went wrong.
Yeah, what could be interesting is if a future documentary were to adopt the same approach that the BBC currently adopts with their landmark documentaries, where the last 10 minutes of the episode are behind the scenes.
That's a good idea, for example. Yeah.
Which that could work.
If it's not enjoyable enough, because Walk with Dinosaurs, for example, the making of was really interesting to watch.
Oh, yes.
Because we saw both the science and how we made the effects and all the stuff in the field, and
that
making the models.
Really interesting.
Brilliant.
That was, I think, it was actually one of my favorite parts as a child.
Yeah.
And I think doing it this way would be a great way of explaining the science behind it.
Unfortunately, I think it only aired one here in Germany, and after that I never saw it again.
I had it on the VHS, actually.
I
never had it. I had my video cassette and I recorded everything and watched it all over again.
Yeah,
I still plan on
mine on the DVD set.
Go ahead.
I got mine on the DVD set. That's how I watched it. Because I'm young. I was not alive when it aired.
I always forget that you're still one of the small boys.
Yes.
Although you already have a beard.
Ha. Dab.
Oh, Jesus
I
Christ.
didn't have a beard in your age. Not a real one.
You had a fake.
I mean, I still have no real one because it grows so slowly.
Did you go around with a fake beard just to like boost your self-worth?
I actually have a package of fake beards.
You have a fake beard. Why?
For the lols.
I expect you to turn up. I expect you to turn up wearing that at TetsuCon next this year.
Unfortunately, they don't stick so well.
I expect you to have like an elastic band around your face, just holding it in place.
Please, yes, please.
I will turn up with a Robert Backer.
Gandalf!
Yes.
Somebody bring me a cowboy hat.
I'm really short, so I might as well be a hobbit.
We will search for you in the crowd. Where is he? Where is he? And suddenly a little voice from below. Down here.
Okay, so
we have to lift you up for the coffee table.
We've got a wizard. Achero with his beard is obviously a dwarf, and I'm the hobbit. Great. So let's. I actually have a replica of the ring of the ring, so we can.
Achero isn't really fitting for a dwarf.
No, he has a beard. He has a Viking beard, like a dwarf.
Yeah, but I think he fits more like a rider of Rohan.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All of these comments that are just going over my head.
Yes, we digress massively.
Yeah, I have the ring
Dinosaur
in
2.
here, so...
Episode 5, The Ring.
Okay.
So yeah, shall we wrap this up now that we've completely gone off topic?
Yes.
How did we even get to this point? Nobody knows.
I have no idea.
It's something with fake beards and stuff.
Right, so this has been our pitch and discussion of what a Planet Dinosaur 2 could be, whether it could work. I'd say there is material for Planet Dinosaur 2, whether you like it or not, Joshua. There is enough material for it.
Oh, sure.
So, but now we'll leave it up to you guys. If you want, we'll put our ideas, obviously, at the end of this video or in the description. Make your call. Which do you prefer? Which do you think is better? Do you think none is better and that your idea is better? If so, go ahead with your own idea. You're more than welcome to. And we look forward to seeing all of the replies and discussions in the comments below. So thank you all for watching.
Yeah, don't forget to join in on our art challenge.
Yes, we have an art challenge with Joshua himself, who is here. I hope you have noticed by now that Joshua is on this podcast.
My God, am I? I thought I was muted the whole time.
Participate in that, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.